Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Welcome to another edition of the Dr. Dex podcast. My name is Jason Russell. I am accompanied by my producer, DJ Studio Man. Say what's up.
What's up?
And our guest this week is Mr. Trevor Wegner from TW. Oh man, TW Customs? No, Crafts. Oh, was so close. You'd think I'd write this stuff down, man, but I don't.
You got it. You got it.
So, Trevor, where are you located?
I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Upper Midwest.
South Dakota, Upper Midwest. Yeah. So, are you like in Tornado Alley at all, or anything like that?
Not as bad as like Kansas and stuff, but we get plenty. We've had some good storms this year. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, why don't you tell our guests what you're currently up to and what you're doing right now, like in 2026.
2026, I am going into my fifth year of my own business, building decks primarily, pushing through the heavy part of the year in the middle of summer here. Been working on some pretty cool projects and it just seems to kind of every year they start to get better and bigger. So just been growing on that side of things. Gearing up to try to get things wrapped up before it snows here and we hit our cold weather time.
Okay, so once cold weather hits, is there a shift in your workload, or do you try to go interior at that point, or what do you do for the winter?
Well, so what I usually do is I try to get a lot of footings in before it freezes, and I'll mostly decks throughout the winter even. So I'm outside the whole time. It's just kind of getting prepped for that so that I can go the whole time through the winter.
Wow. So it gets pretty snowy and cold there?
Yeah, we'll get down to some -20 weeks with -40 wind chills. Ooh. Those ones I'm inside for. We won't. But
do you have anybody working with you at the moment?
I have some summer guys, a couple of high schoolers, and then a little bit of sub work with some guys, but that kind of work directly with me. So that's kind of the stage I'm at now. Those guys are getting ready to go back to school for the summer guys, but then the subs that are joining me when I have some work for them but kind of growing. So it's kind of a fun stage. Yeah.
Right on. How do you find yourself marketing yourself to get projects?
It's kind of been, I guess, word of mouth's been my best so far, just from I've been small enough where that still gets me enough work. And it seems like it's a relationship-based sales mindset. That's kind of the building that trust factor. But I've definitely pushed more of the social media this last 2 years. That's been a big kind of increasing on that end or going that direction, just for more probably educating and getting people to just kind of see what I do so that they know who they're getting before I walk in the door. That seems to be a big thing. Yeah.
I'd have to agree with you on that, because 90% of the people I go to see nowadays, they know what I sound like. They know what I look like. You know, they know exactly who I am when I knock on their door. So I think there is an element of trust or level of comfort that people get when you show up and they already kind of know of you. So that's one benefit, I suppose, of social media, YouTube, and all that stuff is just putting yourself out on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Well, I don't want to get too involved in your current business or anything like that. We're usually like to talk a little bit about, what you did growing up. Were you born and raised in the local area you're in now, or did you come from somewhere else, transpire from somewhere else, or what? So, what was your childhood like?
Right. So I'm not originally from here. I've lived in Sioux Falls about 10 years, but I'm originally from South Central Minnesota. So about 4 hours from here, but I grew up on a small farm. My parents farmed. We had crops and then pigs and cattle, and so that was kind
Mm-hmm.
of I don't know. I loved growing up in the country, and that was a good building of work ethic for me, I guess you could say. But started
I
there.
would say so.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, growing up on a farm, did you guys eat your livestock and things like that?
Oh yeah, yep. It was so you have
Yes.
direct access too, right? Which is kind of
Yeah,
nice.
no kidding. So, did you ever like get accustomed or maybe like became affliction with an animal that you knew you're going to end up eating down the road,
Oh, I never,
or was that
I
never a
never
problem
had
for
any
you?
Wilburs or anything.
No, no Wilburs.
No, no, no Charlotte's Web Wilburs. But I mean, I never had any animals that I kind of grew too close with that we'd had to eat. Um,
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
yeah,
what primarily would you guys harvest off the farm for meat?
it was. I mean, mainly we just take one of the cows or one of the pigs that were gonna get sold later, and we just have them butchered
Mm-hmm.
at a local butcher shop instead of selling them. But I mean, when I was really young, we had chickens, and then we would butcher them all ourselves. Had some. That's a fun time if you've ever butchered about 100 chickens all at one time. It's a
Oh
chore.
wow. Oh,
Yeah,
I bet. I bet.
yeah.
How long would a pig last? Like after you butchered a pig and they cut it all up and gave it back to you, how long would that? How many weeks or months would that last you?
Well, I mean, I would say we could about a half a year for us, but we were mixing
Oh,
different. But that's just because you got other foods in the freezer too. But I mean, if you
of
were to
course,
just eat just that every day, then it would be only a
a
couple of
lot quicker.
months. Yeah,
Sure, but I
yeah.
mean, you got ham, you got bacon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else you got, but all kinds of great stuff out of a pig. Pork chops.
Yeah. Those go first.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah,
Uh,
the fillet. I heard that the pork chop fillet is pretty tasty.
It's pretty amazing. I'm better at eating it than cooking it, though. So,
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So, how old? What was? Okay. How old are you right now?
I'm 36. So
Okay. So you're born in when?
1989. So just snuck into the 80s.
1989.
Yep.
Okay. Late 80s.
Yep.
I graduated in 1987. So you were born a couple years after I got out of high school.
Man.
Cool. I know. I'm old.
Don't age yourself.
No, I know. And nobody knows that I'm 57. They think I'm in my 40s, you know. And I just let them think whatever. I've told people I was in my late 30s, and they're like, "Oh, right on."
Well,
But yeah, hey, you know, it's all that bacon,
that's right. Well, you're keeping
that
active,
farm
right?
raised bacon, no
Yeah.
nitrates. Yeah, that's for sure. The whole trick about this kind of work is it's a delicate balance. Like when you're still in the field and you're still cranking out things, it's don't get injured. That's the hard part. Like make sure you don't hurt yourself to the point of surgery. And unfortunately, I've had a couple humdingers that kind of slowed me down a little bit and have actually kind of put me in a handicap position. But I still work. It's just I don't work like I used to because I can't. But nonetheless, you know, that's one thing that I always preach to my guys. You know, don't take any unnecessary risks because it doesn't help you for your future if you like blew a bicep muscle and then you have to have it surgically reattached. You know, that's never going to help you in your future. So,
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
It's
All right, so you're on the farm. How? Go ahead.
I've had some close calls, and it's like every time you're like, yeah, that was
Hmm.
dumb. Why am I doing that? You know?
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, I get it. All right, so you're on the farm. How long did that farm life last for?
Up until I graduated high school,
Oh,
we phased out the pigs and the cattle, and then just rented a building out to another farmer for that. But then, so it was mainly just the crops, and my dad ended up going into working as commercial HVAC kind of because the farm was small enough he needed a second job. So it was definitely
Mm-hmm.
it was we were never we were pretty poor on it. I mean we it was a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you're not a big farmer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's a challenge. So that was, I mean, he worked commercial HVAC, would come home when it was time to combine. He would combine all night and then go back to work in the morning. So it was definitely
Wow.
yeah,
Man, that's
yeah.
a grinder right there. That guy, he knows how to grind. Serious. Props to
He's
dad. That's crazy.
64, still doing it. So it's yeah, but
Man, I'm not far behind him.
it's well,
I
but at the
couldn't
same time,
imagine trying to work that many hours.
yeah, he doesn't do quite as much from the hour standpoint anymore, but he's it's I see it though, like I'm gonna have a hard time not doing some of the physical labor because that's the part I like doing is working it, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as this
Mm-hmm.
business thing is growing, it's I see the necessity to do
Yeah.
more of that stuff of the business side of things, but I like the building stuff. So
Yep. Yeah, there's two ways to run a business. Well, you can work your business or you can run your business. Or like us, you do both.
hmm
I just never really had the inertia to bring in a bunch of people to do the work for me and be the conductor. I still am the conductor, but I'm on site conducting. I'm not doing it from my desk. And then there's some people that own really successful deck companies that have never touched a stick, you know, and they definitely rely on their employees to do what they need them to do, and they're really good at marketing or sales or the other parts of the business that maybe we don't excel at. I'm sure I could make more sales if I spent more energy honing in on it. But most people, after I meet them, I'm like, hey, and then I finally give them a price. I never give a price on site. I always take it with me and then send them a proposal. But I'm like,
hmm
either you want it or you don't. There's really no negotiating price with me. It's either this is the number, either we've reduced the scope of the project, or this is how much you're going to pay.
I think a lot of times people think that it's like, it's what they perceive the value of, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if, if you were to go into a store and buy something, you're not, that's what the price is. You're not going to get a discount there.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you can go into Costco and want a better price on the TV, but they're like, "Sorry, man, it's already discounted. This is your price."
Right. Maybe we should try that. Like, hey,
So, all
you
right.
better.
Yeah, right. So, hey, you spent through high school, and you guys had this farm. So, were you into sports or athletics or academics at all in school, or?
Yeah, so sports was my big thing and mainly baseball. I played a lot of sports, but baseball
Mm-hmm.
was my game. That was
Mm-hmm.
I played that from like 3, 4 years old all the way through high school.
Oh,
I
wow.
played 2 years
Mm-hmm.
2 years of college for baseball, so that was kind of my my calling, I
All
guess
right.
you could say. Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you play?
I was a middle infielder or a pitcher, so primarily second base and
Oh,
pitching. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah,
Wow,
but
cool.
eventually my arm got kind of wore out, and so I kind of just switched mainly to just second base, and then after I kind of hung it up, it was just fun on the weekends or playing like traveling team ball, but it was never any further than just the second 2 years of college ball.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So when you're pitching, like most people, they throw a ball maybe, 40, 50 miles an hour if they're lucky.
Right.
I was watching this kid on Instagram the other day. He was throwing 99-mile-an-hour fastballs, and he was 16 years old.
hmm
And to me, that's mind-numbing because that's like major league speed, right?
Oh yeah. If you're throwing that, you're getting scouts looking at you at that age already. You've probably been getting scouts looking at you at 12, 14 now, the way that they start looking really
Yeah.
early now. So
Yeah.
yeah, my
What
upper
makes a
70s.
player? Yeah, you're in the upper 70s.
I was, not anymore. Now I'm washed up, but
Bummer. That's all right, man. I mean, obviously, it wasn't meant to be.
yeah.
Because I would assume, like, you got to really take care of yourself and your arm. And, like, most pitchers can't even pitch an entire game because
Mhm.
they're throwing with so much inertia. Like, it's just got to hammer your arm. I don't even know, like, what stretches or anything like that. Like, there's got to be a regimen probably that to keep it conditioned properly that most people don't even realize, you know?
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was terrible. I could never pitch. I couldn't even throw a ball. Like still can't. I never figured that one out. Like I was terrible at basketball, terrible at baseball. I could hit the ball, but I could never throw it accurately. I was always missing the intended target.
Right. Right. Would
Okay,
you?
so go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So high school, you end up graduating, and then you made it to college. What college did you go to?
I went to 2 years in Vermilion Community College up in the Boundary Waters area, by northeastern Minnesota. It was a D3 school,
Mm-hmm.
and then I did two
Mm-hmm.
years at the U of M. It was at one of the branches of the U of M up in Crookston, Minnesota. So all up in the north,
Okay.
up in the middle of nowhere. But so I actually my major was natural resource management. So biology. People think of it like a game warden or just that. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But more uh, kind of doing. If you think about study wise for um, just animal populations or like if endangered species, you could
Mm-hmm.
kind of go a lot of routes with it. But I did prairie
Mm-hmm.
management for a while, so kind of that was the direction I was going for the first part of my career in college.
Mm-hmm. So did you graduate with a degree?
I did have a bachelor's of science in NetR management and wildlife management, actually. So my perfect job was, in my mind, to do some of those, hop on a plane, do some studies from above and then go down and measure, weigh animals and check population size. But there's actually a lot more math involved with it, and you pretty much need a master's degree to really get into the game. So I kind of phased out of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what'd you do after that?
Uh, so I did several jobs with my degree after college. So I did prairie management for 2 years. I did a couple of fun jobs that involved over the summers. One was commercial salmon fishing in Alaska. That was a really cool
Hmm.
deal. Yeah, it was like deadliest catch style. It was pretty neat.
Sure.
Yeah. Did a job that was trapping and banding a couple endangered species of birds for a summer. Then I ended up moving down to South Dakota. That's how I ended up in Sioux Falls and working for a engineering firm doing permitting for construction for like say roadside projects. Just
Mm-hmm.
doing the environmental side of things.
How did you go from the bird stuff? Were you applying, or did you stumble across it, or how did you end up getting this job in South Dakota?
Right. I was applying and looking. It's a pretty competitive deal for
Mm-hmm.
getting some of those jobs. There just seems to be not a lot of them, and a lot of people that have the same mindset. I like to hunt and fish. I want to be in and um, be in the outdoors and have a job with it. So it was kind of about who you know. And at the time I got the job, it was so my former father-in-law worked at this firm and kind of put in a good word for me. So
Mm,
that's how I ended up
cool.
there, was with my girlfriend at the time, and he got me in, um, and I got the job there. So yeah.
Cool. All right, so then you start doing some permitting and things like that, but you're doing like the wildlife side of what is it like to see, okay, if we put this road in here, it's going to affect this, this, and this.
Exactly. Is it's going to
Mm,
affect different species of animals that might that or wetlands or anything nature wise that would have to be replaced.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so how long did you do that for?
I did that for, I think, 2.5 years. I kind of traveled South Dakota, North Dakota, and Wyoming for it, and it wasn't quite me. There was a lot of traveling and then a lot of report
Mm-hmm.
writing, and
Mm,
I just it was a great company, but I just decided to get out of it, and I needed to work with my hands, so I got out of
okay.
that. Went to work on a hog farm for 2 years because I just thought, oh, maybe I'll try something back to my roots. And that was not quite what I was looking for. So I've kind of hopped around a lot. And then I ended up getting into construction about 8 years ago, I want to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And where'd you
So
start out with the construction?
construction, I started framing with a couple of guys. I knew a buddy that was
Mm-hmm.
framing houses, and so we just kind of got a framing crew together and started doing that for a few years, and that was all good. It was a learning curve for me because I was new, and that just is it. You learn a lot, which is great, but then that kind of broke up with we kind of had you get a couple buddies and if you don't work well together, and then it kind of shows through eventually, and so
Yeah.
um then I started working for a custom home builder and doing some of it, a lot more of his remodels. I was doing project management for him and building, uh doing the carpentry side of it in his remodels, and he took care of the new homes. And so that was a good job for a while. Learned a lot. I just kind of was growing my skills there. He taught me a lot of stuff, and eventually kind of just reached a point where I kind of just wanted to do my own thing, and felt like I was just at that point of life to try it. So
Hmm. Cool. So how long were you at the remodelers for?
that was, I would say that was 2 to 3 years. So kind of had a lot of like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know if that was just getting into you kind of get into a sucky time, and then you don't like it and you want to try something new. But so that was about 2, 3 years, and then I just decided, we kind of had a little bit of a hashing out on some stuff, and I just decided to try my own. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on year 5, and it's been good for me. It's definitely not an easy deal
When did
to
you? No, no, it's not. When did you start? So when did you start your own business? What
um
year?
2022.
Okay. And were you specializing in decks then, or was it general construction, or what was your forte?
At the very start of it, I was kind of doing um, a little bit of everything with quite a bit of deck work, but then it quickly transitioned to 99% decks within like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that
Okay.
was, I don't know. It's just
Hey,
fun to work on them.
I'm not
That's what I like
opposed.
to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I
right.
mean, some people like doing them, and I'm with you. I do too. I still enjoy it. Like I was really enjoying my day today, building with the guys, and we're short a beam, but we're still able to get part of the deck framed and joist out and all that good stuff. So, there's
Nice.
just those days where you really enjoy going to work and just putting something together, and then at the end of the day, go, hey, look what we did. It's pretty cool.
That's
So so
exactly.
once you realized, yeah, where you're at, right? Once
Hmm.
you realize that, like 6 months in, you're like, man, I'm really into building decks. I think that's what I want to specialize in. So like 2022, 23, you're just from 23 on, you're all just about decks.
Right.
And so that leads us up into today. So what's your, in your market, what do you find that you're selling a lot of as far as decking goes?
Primarily, I push TimberTech, I guess, but I mean, I haven't done a
Mm-hmm.
wood deck for probably 3 years now. Everybody's doing composite. I
Mm-hmm.
push PVC as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in it pretty hard, but
My man.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know. I tell people like I just show them the difference, and like if it's to me. Why would you have a deck that you can't be on all the time with composite where it's a little more where it's hotter and PVC you can do so much more with. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a great craftable material. It's
Hmm.
premium. You know, if a company believes in their products that much and they're putting a 50-year warranty and now up to 12-year labor warranty on top. Like I know they had a 7-year, but depending on what you use, like TimberTech wants you to go all in and use all their railing and all their framing, their aluminum framing and all that. And if you do all that, you're going to get a 12-year labor warranty for the client as well, where they're paying you to go fix something if it goes wrong, versus the homeowner having to pay for it, which is kind of a kind of a nice carrot to dangle in front of a client. But even if you're just worried about the deck portion or the decking itself, to have a 50-year warranty with a 7-year labor warranty, if you're a platinum installer of product, that's a pretty good that's a pretty good product and a pretty good warranty to be able to offer a client.
Absolutely. A lot of it's been educational to try to show them that to get, and I think that's working. I mean, I would say the Midwest has
Mm-hmm.
been, or at least here, has been maybe just a touch behind learning some of that, just with the different materials that are coming out there. Um, I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
just started using helicals here in the last year, and that's been around more on the coast for quite some time. But yeah, from a decking standpoint, just
Yeah.
showing the difference and how much better it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on the helical piles. I used to steer away from them until our state mandated a higher pound per square foot live load that we had to build to. So it went from 40 pounds. And now this is what's weird. It went from 40 pounds per square foot live load, which is a national average. Everybody kind of builds to that. And then all of a sudden they raise it to 60 pounds per square foot live load. And I know there's places in Colorado and heavy snow laden built to 100 pounds per square foot. So they're even higher regard for that. But for the average deck build, it actually increased our footing size by 3x. It didn't increase our footing size by 2 or by 50%. We actually had to start making our footings like 3 times bigger, which started meaning, okay, instead of maybe buying a pallet of concrete, which is equivalent to about a yard of concrete, which I can haul on my own, I can go have it picked up at a home center and I can get a discount, whatever. Then we were either buying 3 pallets of concrete, or we were having a cement truck short loaded to come out and pour the concrete just for the footings.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally was looking at some of my friends up north and in Canada, and I was like, man, I think I need to look into these helicals a little bit closer, because you guys have a really deep frost depth, like 48, 42 inches or something like that.
Right, right. It's been at 42 for us, but I've always gone to 48. They are increasing it here a little bit more. I know
Mm-hmm.
north of
Mm-hmm.
me, they in Fargo, up by North Dakota, they
Mm-hmm.
are at 52 even. So it's been increasing.
Wow. Most helical piles, I mean, your first piece, the one with the auger bit on it, you're a 6 foot if you bury it. So
Right.
you're well past your frost depth on your first set. And then like lately where I've been digging, man, the soil's been really soft. So we've gone down like 3 additional sections of extension, which again are 6 feet extensions. So we're going down 18 feet possibly to hit torque. But I still feel it's a better way to build than just pouring a 2-foot deep footing. And where I live, we would also have to do more of a wide. We don't have a frost depth here. It might be 12 to 18 inches depending on where we live. So we were having to go wider, and then putting rebar grids inside of our footings and stuff like that. So it just got kind of silly, to where I was like, when my engineer's like, well, you got to do a 48 by 48 with 6-way number 5 rebar. And I'm like, man, these footings are 1,000, 1,500 a piece, and I got to have 6 of them for this deck. And we're $8,000, $9,000 just into the foundation. And, clients weren't really on it. And then once I started doing helicals, I drive them myself. I buy in bulk. I can actually just give them the helicals for basically the same price I would charge for concrete footings, and we can get them done in a day and build on them the same day.
Well, that's my thought too. You can go right away. I mean, you think about how much time that saves to just drive them in and start on your deck. It's a no-brainer to me. Yeah. Sometimes
we have a lot of rocks, and you can like have some issues right, left, and uneven terrain as well. So there are some setbacks. I've also looked into these new ground screws that are coming out, and now they finally have a machine that'll like read the torque on it. So that could be another option as well. But there's still some pluses and minuses to each one, I believe. Like the big minus for the helical piles is if you want to do them yourself is you got to have a machine and you got to have the piles, and you have to have the experience. Like you got to learn sooner or later. Like when I first started doing it, I had some real comments like on my social media about it. And it was like, hey man, shouldn't you have a professional doing that? I was like, well, I said, even the professionals had to learn somehow.
That's right.
And now you're telling me that I'm not a professional. And now I'm going to drop his name because I love this guy. His name's Max with Masscore Helical. And he's like, Jason, I was talking to him the other day. He goes, Jason, I've seen your videos. I've seen all your time lapses. You tag me in everything you do. He said, you have more experience driving helical piles than anybody else does in Washington State, except for the guys doing the house foundations, which is a little bit different than what we're doing with decks. But I've even ran some double helixes and stuff he sent me for special considerations for like load capacity and stuff like that. And it's to the point where like my machine will not drive these any harder, any deeper, unless I go buy a mini excavator or something or go rent one to drive them like with more torque. So, but when you're hitting, like let's say you're running PSI on your machine and you're hitting 2,500 PSI, that means you're at 5,000 foot-pounds of torque, which is and the footing's designed for 3,250 and you're hitting 5K. So you're well beyond the specification of the math of what you need to drive that pile. What's your primary way for footings right now?
It's kind of varied based on the project. I'm moving to start doing as many helicals as I can. I'm still doing concrete sometimes. Sometimes diamond piers, depending on, it's all been situational, but I'm trying to go in the direction of helicals as much as I can. That's the preference I would have.
I mean, diamond piers are cool. Helicals will hold more weight. So you can build some of the bigger projects on them versus a diamond pier, which won't hold quite as much capacity. I've actually spec'd diamond piers out on a project. My engineer's like, hey, unless you want to run double posts over here, he said, these won't hold the weight that we need it to hold. I'm like, well, what will? He's like, 5 foot by 5 foot by 2 foot deep by 6-way rebar. I'm like, oh, you're killing me, man.
Right.
I think most engineers are going to double or triple the requirement of what we actually need. And I can see it. We live in earthquake country, so we get rumblers and shakers and things like that where we live. So they have to spec their math out to how it would hold up in an earthquake.
Well, yeah, they got to go above and beyond just for making sure that there's no failure.
Let's talk a little bit about what connected us today. So I know you're using helicals as much as you can. You have a really deep frost depth, and that totally makes sense. Yeah. So Chad Furley from PWT gave me your name and number. He said you're a great up-and-coming deck builder and thought you might be a great guest for the podcast. So we've been using PWT for since the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
Now the funny thing is, I went and toured their factory. Was that back in 2020?
2019.
29. Yeah, thank you. How'd you remember that, Calvin?
I remembered it because it was the most boring day of my life.
So we took our camera equipment because I thought we were gonna do this really cool YouTube video about it, but then they're like, "No, you can't film this." And so Calvin's like, "Well, what am I here for?" He's like, "Well, I couldn't just give him the keys and say I'll see you at the house because we all rode together." But
Right.
we actually went and toured the factory and saw how it was made and all that cool stuff. And then they gave me some samples, and I actually built a little miniature deck. And I did it how they told me. They didn't quite have a installation guide at that time, so I just put it together, screwed it together, laid some decking on it, put some posts in for aluminum railing, and then let it sit in my boneyard for the last 6 years. And then finally I went out and looked at it and I was like, man, this thing looks just like day one, except it's kind of gray. I think I can use this. And the opportunity, I was using a bunch of aluminum for a while. That didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. So we decided to try an alternate wood product instead. One that maybe was a little more cost effective, but that was engineered so we can get better spans and more accurate, that wouldn't shrink after, the season or whatever, or summer. And so we used to use a lot of pressure treated hemlock. Now we're using Pacific Wood Tech PWT treated LVLs, and you've used some of this as well, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I've used them the last 2 years as much as possible. I'm trying to.
Mm.
I've had a few homeowners that have pushed back on not doing it, but I'm trying to explain it on, hey, this is going to be a better product. Your best. You can have a flat surface, and the whole not shrinking thing and not changing after a year when regular green treat is just
Mm-hmm.
going to dry out has
Mm-hmm.
been a. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty big backer on it.
So, do you primarily, if as far as treated lumber goes, are you in southern yellow pine country, or are you a treated hemlock area?
We're in southern yellow pine.
Mm-hmm. So, for the rest of this podcast, when I say SYP, that means southern yellow pine for all you listeners out there. So, what this is the one thing that really gets me when people, they don't really understand structure. So when you're comparing SYP to PWT, all right, which is Pacific Wood Tech, okay, so we have SYP, which is Southern Yellow Pine. We have PWT, which is Pacific Wood Tech, and PWT is a treated LVL, which stands for laminated veneer lumber. It's man-made, and it's layers of plywood that are glued together with epoxies and special glues and treatment. So there's your quick instructional on that. But now we can say LVL, PWT, and SYP. So when you're comparing the overall cost and you're trying to explain it to a client, and you're saying, well, okay, if I compare SYP to PWT just for size, it is 5x the price. But if you factor in that you need less beams, less posts, and the product will span further, you might be able to obtain a structure that has a more open feel to it from below on a second story deck. Where does the value come in for that? And how much, if you're not having to add all that extra stuff into the frame, then you're saving money, and you're also increasing the value of the deck, in my opinion, because it's minimal as far as the amount of posts and beams and things like that. Do you have a philosophy on that?
Oh, yeah, totally agree. It's you can span further, like you said, and I definitely will walk through with homeowners of just like their lower patio if they're, and for getting more use out of that area too, and for visibility, viewability from below. I'll talk to them about some of the labor that has to go in with just prepping standard SYP to make it nice. I mean, all the planing that you have to do to actually have a smooth surface versus just putting up PWT and having it pretty much at a nice level surface ready to go. So I try to walk through them. I actually, from a pricing standpoint, if I get into it with a homeowner of talking through, I'll show them compare the pricing, and I'll just and I'll show the labor versus the material of,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you're using PWT, the labor changes versus you're using SYP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
So
and
the
then you're
price,
still going to be more. Go
you're
ahead.
still going to be more, but the price gets a lot closer for a better product.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's talk about warranty. Uh, PWT is putting out a 25-year warranty on their man-made product. What kind of warranty do you get with Southern Yellow Pine?
You don't.
Exactly. You don't get a warranty. It's 8 seconds or 8 feet. As soon as you walk out the lumberyard, that's your warranty has expired. Now, some of these treatment facilities are offer. They're saying, "Oh yeah, this warranty, this wood will last so long," but in 20 years, that wood has extended its life, and I've noticed. Like current pressure treated lumber will not last as long as previous generations of pressure treated lumber because of the chemicals that were used in it. So the better chemicals that were worse for the environment are no longer used because of the environment. So they're using a different kind of chemical that's more corrosive to metal. And that's another thing. You can get away with Z-Max everything because PWT doesn't lurch or leach into the steel. It doesn't rust it out like copper chromium arsenate does. Do you know what they're treating SYP with?
Honestly, I don't. I don't have
Okay.
what they're
It's
currently
probably
putting.
something similar. It's probably something similar to what they do all over the nation. They're only allowed to do so much because then there's different percentages that you can get, like with a higher percentage of treatment in it. That's for direct burial. But I'll be honest, man, I would never bury wood in any situation. I used to like put some concrete or some posts in concrete for stair applications, but I always wrapped them in G tape just so that they wouldn't rot. And the one place I was concerned about was where the concrete stopped and basically the air started. You know, it's like that point right there is you're going to be your weak point. That's where moisture is going to sit and it's going to start to decay the post. But nowadays, what's your stance on, have you tried any of the composite lumbers that are out?
Not yet. I would like to. I mean, you start talking about the OC posts and stuff that are out there. That's something I want to, but I just haven't had the opportunity yet to do it. I've done some steel posts, but I have not gotten into any of the composite ones.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. I have the composite posts, and some of them are fiberglass and they're hollow. Some of them are solid. They smell like burnt tires when you cut them, kind of thing. But anything that you can put in the ground that won't rot, it changes the way we do our staircases now. So anytime that like you start using something that will change your philosophy on how you build, because A, it's structural, B, it won't rot ever, and C, it's actually a better performing product, even though it costs more, but we expect that when you want something better. But man, it just like, I built some staircases, stringers out of the OC. It's very heavy, very, very heavy. But that fiberglass reinforcement inside of it, man, it's a pretty neat product, even though it's heavy. Now, I started using the PWT stringers, and they cut like on a dime. They're nice and sharp and work really well, but you don't want them to touch ground. You don't want them to touch any earth or dirt or anything. So anytime we're putting something sub-earth, then it's going to be it's probably going to be OC. I know they just are coming out. I'm supposed to have some soon. Some of their 6x6 reinforced structural 6x6 posts, which blows me away that they're making a plastic post that's structural that'll be able to hold up a deck.
That's crazy. I I'm excited to see
Yeah.
what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure, if this we're working towards better products for the future for longer lasting. So that is, if that's an
Mm-hmm.
option, they're going to find a way.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. I mean, I've been building decks for 35 years, and I never thought the first 25 years of my life, of my career, I mean, first 25 years of my career, never even thought about using some alternate product for framing. And now they're like, well, hey, I go, someday they're going to have beams out of composite, or some days, and now they have this, they're starting out to do it. They're starting to do it. I don't know about using OC for like a long spanning joist, but I definitely would use it for a structural post. So I'm really excited to see these 6x6s. I'm supposed to get a pallet of them soon, so I'll keep everybody in the loop on that.
I'll be watching, seeing how that comes out.
Right on. So what's your favorite part of building a deck?
Honestly, I would say it's the very end, just with the homeowner getting to kind of enjoy it for the first time and getting their
Mm-hmm.
feedback on how much, if they like it or how much they like it. And so but I would say if I'm on site from the labor side of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's stepping back after you track saw your and get your picture frame in, and then it's all kind of coming together right about that time. You start to see the
Mm-hmm.
vision, and that's kind of where
Mm-hmm.
I would say my favorite part is.
It's kind of crazy when you're building how much prep it takes to get to the point of, okay, I'm ready to start setting my beams, but all the elevations that you need to do, and then once your beams are set, the layouts that you need to do to make sure your joists are all proper. Once that happens, then things start to really rock and roll, but it depends, like you said, the complexity of the build, the type of deck you're building, what you're up against for spans and things like that can all change how that's framed. So it's really interesting. How far out are you booked right now?
I'm booking into next year. I've got
Wow.
I've got enough projects for the fall, but I could book a little bit more for the winter. That's kind of what I'm talking to people
Mm-hmm.
about now. But yeah, I would say I've got enough projects to finish out this fall here.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That's comforting. For me, I always like to have a few months. Sometimes we book out up to a year, but lately, this year's been a little different. We're actually only about 30 days out before we need work. So it's just kind of interesting to see the different from different locations around the country, how people are doing right now. But that's awesome, man. As far as how do you charge your clients? Is it like materials and labor, or do you have a set fee for each component of the deck, or how do you do that?
So I've kind of been playing with that a little bit, and the last 2 years there's been a lot of material price fluctuation. So I've been kind of changing how I'm doing things a little bit. I'm starting to
Mm-hmm.
break labor and materials apart more,
Mm-hmm.
so so a homeowner can make that decision if they want to upgrade materials. But then your labor it's kind of like a cost plus idea a little bit, but more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
more so it's just like it's a safety net for me maybe, but it's more transparent for a homeowner, for them to see material price and then labor price, so I don't lose, they don't lose, and if
Mm-hmm.
they want to upgrade, they can upgrade.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I've asked this question so many times, and it seems like I'm getting a different answer almost every single time. We end up getting to the end result the same, but it's how we get there. For me, the hardest part of the job, of every job, the hardest part for me is the sale. And then once I get the job sold, everything else just falls into place.
Yeah, I'm not naturally a salesman, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's maybe my favorite part of the job, because you're asking a large investment of somebody to trust you to
Mm-hmm.
build what you're telling them is worth it. And I fully believe in what I'm selling. It's
Mm-hmm.
helping them to see that. But yeah, to that sale part, you start talking about money. It's never fun.
Yeah, and you'll get through some of that as you do it more and more, but there's some things that you won't. Like I've walked out of houses before thinking, "Man, there's no way that these people are going to go for this price." And then it always surprises me when they call me back and say, "All right, well, we've gotten our estimates, we've done our homework, we want to hire you for the job." I still get excited. I still love that part, like the "thank you so much, you'll never regret this, look forward to working with you," and all those things with the people that we work for. And again, going back now, circling back from what we were talking about earlier as far as the social media and how that might come to play back into a client's mind, because they can go back and review videos or things that you did, or what's this guy doing different than anybody else. And if they pay attention, they can see those subtle nuances that you're going to be doing for them versus maybe the next guy that didn't bother to even tell them. They just said, "Oh, here's a napkin sketch of your deck and here's a number." They don't itemize anything. They don't break it down, labor, materials, whatever. They just say this X amount of dollars, take it or leave it. So, apparently there's been a lot of work out there that people have been doing that. But I think now our customer pool is smarter. They're doing more research and they're doing their due diligence, so they make sure that they are getting a fair deal on whoever they hire.
I think people are really, really watching their spending right now a little bit. So they're
Mm-hmm.
definitely checking up and researching. And there's more ways for them to research it now, so they can
Mm-hmm.
and look up these products that are getting presented to them. I had a guy this spring that said he called 40 companies. That
What?
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of work. I thought it
Whoa.
sounded like a lot of work to
That
me, but
yeah, that is a lot of calls. Like, don't take this the wrong way, but are you sure you want to work for somebody that called 40? Because it sounds to me like, are you only looking for best price scenario here? Or what's your motivation to call 40? I mean, if you called 10 deck companies that specialize in decks, I think that would be enough for you to make a decision of who to hire. But 40, oh my goodness, that's a lot.
I think part of it was he said that he only had 6 call him back. So I think that was a
Oh,
big part of it.
is everybody that busy that only 6 out of 40 would call you back? That's like maybe 18% of the companies called back, possibly. Wow,
That's not very
pretty
good.
low.
Uh-huh.
No, that's not good at all. So it's good for those 6 companies that did call them back, I guess. But boy, it just what's that say about our industry?
I know.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, get a bad stereotype for it.
So, do you have any hobbies or anything that you like to do when you're not building decks?
I'm big into hunting and fishing. The outdoors is kind of like where I like to be. So do a lot of pheasant hunting here in the Midwest I've got a
Mm-hmm.
lab, so a lot of that,
Okay.
a lot of deer hunting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what kind of a gun do you shoot with?
I have a Benelli M3 now for a shotgun. And then
Mm-hmm.
rifle wise, I have a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Okay. So for those of you that are gun enthusiasts, you probably know what that is. Unfortunately, I do not. I mostly have handguns, so I don't hunt much, but that's really cool. And then as far as fishing, what do you normally go fishing for?
A lot of it's just been ice fishing because I've been pretty busy in the summer to do regular fishing. So I'll ice fish with some buddies, usually for walleyes or bluegills. But that's kind of been, I don't know, it's more about it's college buddies, all your old drinking buddies that you get together with, and how much fishing are we doing? Well, we're out there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's cool, man. Like socializing, getting back and getting back in tune with some of your old friends is always good thing to do. So, what is your future plan? Like you talked a little bit about possibly running the business more than working the business. So if you see the growth that you've been seeing lately, what do you plan on doing?
I mean, my dream would be not to grow it. I don't need to be some giant company, but I want like 3 to 4 guys that just want to go to work hard. And then if some guy wants to go home and for his kid's baseball game, go home early, then the next day the other guy does it. Kind of just like you have your buddy's back and they have that freedom. That's kind of my vision, I guess.
And then are you going to still focus on sales and the growth of the company?
What's that?
Are you going to focus on the sales and the growth of the company and running the business? Or are you going to still get out in the field with them?
Oh, I want to still be on site. I like building, so I want to
Right on.
It will take more sales meeting, more stuff like that from me, but I don't want to lose the being on site, being part of the build. I don't really want to lose that. So that's just kind of, they'll have to take the hammer out of my hand.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. All right, guys. We had a little bit of technical difficulties at the end of our podcast. Some of you know, maybe some of you don't, that we on our side do it remote from the job site. And sometimes it's on our side, and then sometimes there might be internet problems or something with our guest's side of things. So Trevor, we had to disconnect, and he couldn't get back on. So I just wanted to let you know that if you're interested in talking to Trevor TW Craftsman, you can contact him at trevor@twcraftsman.com and check out his webpage, and probably look up TW Craftsman on socials as well, on Instagram, and you can DM them through that. So thanks for watching the podcast, guys. We really appreciate you. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Over and out.